What is up, YouTube? It's World-Renowned Heretic here. Welcome back. I'm back with another player/commentator interview, and today I am here with Kenny Wisdom. What's going on?
What's up, everybody? Not much, man. Just getting ready for the big stream this weekend.
Heck yeah, Madison. That's going to be a big event, and so that's looking forward to that. Now, just real quickly, you also played in the Seattle event last weekend, and you finished in the top 8, which was really awesome. I was really proud to see that. So I'd like to say congratulations to you on that first and foremost.
Thank you.
And like just give us just a real quick how did that come to be, like your deck choice and just like the event, playing versus maybe commentating on an event that didn't have a stream commentator or something like that.
So I like to play the events where I can, just because I don't get to play that many. Especially coming into this new standard format, it looked really fun. And
Sure.
Typically, what happened this event, which is what always happens, is that a couple weeks before the event, I asked Travis Nunlist if he's going, and I asked him to help me with decks, and he added me to a group chat with him, Serena Radu, Oliver Barr, and Drew Allen, and we came up with a Drampo list that I think Drew got from a Japanese player. Not that it's not this deck, but that's where he got it from. And we kind of built it to beat the mirror. We have 3 Drampa, 3 Stadiums, and a Team Flare Grunt, and a Delinquent.
Nice.
So we're all kind of
nice.
about being able to beat the mirror, especially with the Team Flare Grunt can be huge. And I lost round 1 on stream, which I'm sure you'll be able to see eventually, to Mia. I rattled off 6 wins in a row, got paired against Drew, got paired down against Drew, guy helped me with the deck. We could not draw. He beat me. At that point, I'm really stressing. I get paired against Jeffrey Chang. We draw to make it to 19 points, but a couple of 19-pointers miss, so I'm sweating. I make it in at like 25th. The next day, I go 3-0. Which I'd like to actually thank my first round opponent. We actually went to a tie, but I had like 2 prizes left, and I just said I showed him my hand, and I just said, fill out the slip however you want. I think if we had played 2 more turns of this, I would have won. And he accepted. He said yeah, I know I've been playing a little slow, and it's fine. A draw doesn't really help either of us, so that really helped me out. Shout outs to him. So anyway, then I rattled off 2 more wins, drew twice, made it in at, I think, 6th seed, and had to play against Jeffrey. It's actually funny, me and Jeffrey got paired 3 times in the tournament.
Wow.
We intentionally twice. So the first time we played with the top 8, where he crushed me in 3 games.
Well, that is a tough match.
Yeah, I would have liked to have made it. Yeah, I would have liked to have made it deeper. I think my list is good for the mirror, like I said, and I think everyone else in that top 8 who was playing Jabagar was better than me, but I think my list is so good for the mirror that if I would have drawn a different pairing, I think I probably would have made it to top 4. But sure. I'm happy with where I got. It was I got lucky in a lot of spots, so I can't really complain too much.
No, it's definitely a really awesome job. I think it's really cool to see you do that. I mean, a lot of times the big time commentators like you and Josue, and who, I don't even know how much he plays, if any, anymore, or, like Kyle Sablehouse, it's really cool to see you guys, being able to play in some of these events too, and especially, doing as well as you did. I was really proud. I was pulling for you there when I saw the pairings, but that is a rough matchup. I definitely understand that. So, obviously, that's super cool. Anyway, continuing forward, do you prefer commentating as opposed to playing then overall, would you say? Or is it like a mixed bag? Or
I think it's definitely different. It kind of scratches a different itch for me, but in general, if I had to pick one, it would definitely be commentating. It's what I feel like I'm better at. It's more sustainable. I think it makes more sense. I'm not a very busy person. I work, I go to school, whatever, but I already have time coming up with the amount of time it takes to be competitive in the game. Testing for this event in particular, I tested a lot. I felt and I still had just days where I could not do anything because I was traveling or, with my girlfriend or at a school thing or whatever it was. And so I feel I just don't think I could sustain that sort of thing consistently. Commentary does obviously take preparation too, but it's very different. You can kind of do it at your own pace, and you don't really have to. You can kind of use the results of others. Like I'm sure all the commentators that didn't play in Seattle this weekend are going to study the deck list that did make top 8 and kind of base their things on there. So it's hard to say which one I enjoy more, but I think commentary is definitely where I should be. I would like to keep playing, as long as I can, I will play it. Seattle, Portland, Vancouver, whatever, but commentary is definitely what I prefer.
Okay. And you actually touched base on what I was going to ask next, which is you mentioned like commentators who didn't play at Seattle studying the decks. Like, is that something that, like, how much time do you spend roughly like studying previous deck lists or meta coming in? Is that a thing, or?
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know how everyone else does it, because I keep up with the game fairly regularly anyway. Like, I have a lot of like friends that play, obviously, and I still like to, even when I'm not preparing for an event, I'll still play and like help people test and just kind of keep up with it. But definitely, like so let's say I hadn't played Seattle, but I was commentating Madison. I would have weeks ago, as soon as Guardian Risings was able to be played with, I would have built a bunch of decks online. I would have looked at all the results from like League Cups and that special event that happened in Milan, I believe, and the Seattle results, and just kind of it's really important. I think all of us definitely take the time to at least study the decks, if not play a lot of them. You're not someone like I know Josue, the cost of us, and I know that he couldn't come Madison, he wouldn't be able to play Drampa Garbodor as well as I can, probably, just because I've actually played the deck. But he is going to know the interactions, is going to know what all the things do, is going to know how it works. Like, it's not necessarily super important that you know the very deep, like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do in this exact situation, but you have to have an understanding of how the game works, and at the very least, a rough understanding of what the plan for each matchup is.
Definitely. And I think that's just kind of general knowledge of the game and of what's progressing. I definitely would support that. Now, I know the last person I interviewed, I think this was actually when I first talked to you when we set this up, was the last person I interviewed was Nicolina Moon, and that was right before she did her first commentary at Toronto. Now, what kind of advice would you have for people that are looking to get into commentary, maybe?
Actually, that's funny that you mentioned that, because after the Nicolina stuff happened, like, she did that event, and there was some community discussion about it, I'll just say. I talked a little bit on Twitter about my thoughts, and if you want to get into commentary, the best way to do it is to start doing it locally. I understand that there are problems with that. I know that there are issues with, if you don't have a relationship with your TO, or you don't have the equipment or whatever it is. I don't know how to solve those issues, but if that is your goal, I would say you need to start doing it in some form. And actually, when I recommended this on Twitter, a lot of people gave me that feedback. They said, "Oh, well, I don't feel comfortable with my TO, or I'm a woman or something, so I don't feel like people want to hear me, or whatever that may be." And so something really interesting, if you are looking at doing the commentaries, I actually worked this out with the person that runs the the Northwest streams, Zane Nelson. We agreed that the day one matches from Seattle that weren't commentated on, because we were all playing, anyone can use those and commentate over them and upload them to their channels or do whatever they want with them.
Okay.
So just kind of, I'm definitely empathetic to the idea that not everyone has an equal opportunity to commentate in real life. So if you need experience, I would definitely recommend those. There are 9 rounds to use, so definitely feel free to do that. I'll talk more about that on Twitter and stuff as the week goes on. I don't know where those videos are yet or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, so if your goal is to break into doing official Pokemon coverage, do what we all did, which was start doing it locally. Start doing as much as you can. And the biggest thing is to play the game and know what you're doing. Like I said, it's not necessary that you need to know that you need to be the best player in the world, but I definitely feel more confident having tested for Seattle and played Seattle going into Madison than I ever have for a stream. That's not because I'm saying I'm super good or anything, but I know what's going on, and I feel very experienced and very confident talking about the matches. So staying up with the game as much as possible is really important. And then from there, you have to understand that it is a kind of a whole different skill set. You know, more than just being good at the game, you need to be able to talk about the game, and you need to be able to make sure that the way that you're presenting yourself is being accepted by people. So if you watch the streams, you can kind of tell that we all have different personalities. Josue is probably the biggest one, where he's very into, he's very like loud and excited. He's kind of the guy that gets people hyped up. Whereas Kyle Sukovic, Puka, is, you know, by far the best player on the commentary team, and he has a personality for sure, but he's very analytical. Like he knows what's going on in every moment of the game, and if he doesn't, he at least, you know, has multiple options in his head about what's going on. And that's kind of two ends of the spectrum, right? Josue is not going to give super deep analysis, but he's going to be very entertaining. And Kyle is not going to be the guy, you know, popping off and making jokes, but he's going to know exactly what he's talking about. And it's really important to kind of carve out your own personality within that. And there are a lot of simple things like knowing your role, you know, whether you want to be on the analysis side where you're describing what's happening to the people and talking about the plays, or whether you want to be kind of more on the play-by-play side where you're just talking about what's happening on the screen and, you know, letting your other commentator take over the analysis part. It all just kind of depends. That's something that you'll just have to learn through experience mainly.
Definitely.
And if anyone ever wants to, you know, if you want me to watch your commentary, you want to talk about it or chat about it or whatever, just hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. I'm not always super available right at that moment, but if you want me to give you advice or anything, or you just need anything like that, I'll definitely help anyone in the community out. I definitely want people to feel like they have someone to come to when they need, if they need help with that. I definitely want to see more people getting into coverage, and I'd love to see, you know, all the regionals do streams.
And I think that's really cool. I want to take a moment to say thank you for that, because I think that's really cool, really cool option. It's really neat that you're doing that just to try to help people out to get into something that I think there are quite a few people who would like to get into it. I mean, I've talked to a few myself. I dabbled in it a little bit myself with the Nick Bailey Open in top 8 and top 4. And so that's definitely a thing that I think is really cool just as an option to have as well, because I do feel like people, you know, like a lot of the reasons you said, you know, maybe they feel like people don't want to hear them talk because for some reason they don't feel like they're credible enough or something, or maybe they're just, you know, just don't really have any idea, you know. And some people are generally more outgoing and have less stage fright as opposed to someone else who might be a little bit more shy.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I definitely am aware of the fact that it was very easy for me. You know, I had a very easy path to get where I'm at. I am, you know, a middle-class white male. I am not shy. You know, I have a vibrant personality. When I started, you know, when we started commentating was when Top Cut Central kind of adopted OTB, and they funded a lot of that for us. You know, we didn't have to buy our own equipment. We have to buy our own travel. Like, and then from there, I was able to get various opportunities. Like, one of the reasons, probably the primary reason that I'm doing commentary now, was that Madison Regionals 2015, they needed someone to help behind the scenes, which is something that we just do now. And Jimmy Ballard told me that, and I just paid for myself to go out there, and like, I did that, and then I kind of got attention from TDCI, right? And that's something that not everyone can afford to just fly across the country for no reason. Not everyone, you know, Jimmy wouldn't have just told anyone about that. Like, I understand that I'm very lucky to be where I am, and I, you know, Pokemon has given me a lot, and I understand that not everyone is in the same position as me. And so if I can use that leverage to kind of give back to the community in any way, I'll definitely do it.
That's really cool. You know, and I really appreciate that. I think, you know, just kind of recognizing the situation, you know, and I kind of look at my situation the same way, is that my channel kind of blew up overnight by accident. And, you know, so again, I'm just, you know, I think being able to do something like that is, you know, kind of recognizing what you're doing there. I think that's really cool. And so you did mention Madison a couple times, and obviously you just mentioned that you went there originally. So are we going to be seeing you on the stream at Madison this weekend then? Or?
Yeah. So it's actually interesting. So for a long time they've only announced the streams the week of, and I've always felt like that, you know, we should do it earlier and kind of build the hype and everything. And this time they did. They announced it like a month ago. But the problem is I feel like some people have kind of forgotten about that. Like, multiple times this weekend I got asked, like, oh, is there going to be a stream next week? Because people are so used to seeing it like right before, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there'll be a stream from Madison. We're we're bringing on Jeremy Jalen for the first time.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, who is someone that when I was talking about being sponsored by Top Gun Central and for On the Bubble and everything, Jeremy is a founding member of On the Bubble. He put in a lot of work too. He's done some streaming since then, like a Texas stream from this year and stuff like that. And he's put in a lot of work and he really deserves it. So it'll be cool to see him. That's all going to be at Pokemon.com/live. There's another stream taking place. There's actually 4 streams. So there's video game and TCG.
Yep.
Both events. There's a stream in the UK or in Europe too, and I don't know which Twitch handle we'll be using for which one. But if you go to Pokemon.com/live, all the feeds will be there, so you can watch.
For sure. Yeah, and you also have to figure like when the later rounds of Madison, the European one will probably be done by that point, at least for day 1, so they'll be able to just have the one. But if you're gonna go like early Madison, I assume, like you said, you'll have multiple links. So yeah, I'll go ahead and try to put a link to Pokemon Live down there in the description down below, so people can just click on that. And
yeah, that happened. I think maybe it was San Jose. There was one tournament where the one in Europe ended, and like 45 minutes later we started, and so it was like you could have basically watched Pokemon for like 24 hours straight.
Oh dang, that's crazy.
That's a heck of a lot of Pokemon this weekend.
There's gonna be a lot of stuff going on, and then we're gonna be I think we're roughly a month away from Intercontinentals now, so. Yeah. That's stuff's going to be getting pretty crazy this next month. I know Origins Game Fair, I don't think they're going to be streaming that, but I know they didn't last year, but I know there's some events going on there as well. It's right in my backyard, so.
Oh, cool. That is one of the cool things, too, going back to what we were talking about, is that there are just tournaments now all the time, which I think is a cool thing about the new regional structure. Even though it's imperfect, like we said, it's cool that there's it's the end of the season, it's June, and we still have Madison, Mexico, the
Origins,
Europe, Origins. Like we just have
and
so
then
many.
Intercon, yeah,
and then Intercontinentals and internationals and World. Which I think is
super
cool that there's just so many more events to play in now.
Well, it's just that there's so many more things I think to look forward to as both a player and a spectator, which is really cool too. Even if you're not able to attend some of these events, the fact that there are, whether it's an official Pokemon stream or it's just someone else streaming. I mean, we've had several people with their own Twitch streams, streaming Seattle, Toronto, Florida, I think Squeaky streamed that one. And several others, we've had a lot of these. So it's really cool just to see this and to see that Pokemon is allowing them to do this because, knowing the way Nintendo can get, at least from what I know from time to time when it comes to like Let's Players and all that stuff on YouTube, sometimes they struggle with that kind of thing. So I think it's cool that TBCI is okay with all of this.
Yeah, anything that helps grow the game, not to speak for TBCI, I'm not an employee of TBCI, but I think anything that helps grow the game and just kind of get more people into Pokemon is good.
Definitely, yeah, I would agree with that. I think they've definitely done a good job of growing their player base over the last year or so, and I think hopefully that will continue. I think the coverage definitely helps, and I think it's really cool, that you're able to go and commentate all those events. It's definitely a different side as opposed to being, constantly, like you said, having to pick a deck all the time. And some of us spend sleepless nights trying to metagame. Others don't really care. It's 50-50 for me, I know. But, I mean, I think it's fun either way. And regardless of, from a standpoint for me, whether I were to try to commentate more or simply play the game, I think it's just nice to be able to see everybody. Like, the community is what really makes this game great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Pokemon, but I would not go to a tournament that none of my friends are going to if it were across the street from me. Yeah. And I would fly anywhere in the world if enough people were going, right?
Definitely.
The game is important, but it's definitely the community and the non tournament aspects of the event that are the most important. I think everyone would say that too.
I would agree.
If you love the game, even if you're successful, it's all about the community and the people you meet.
Well, and I think all the players who you see at all these events, they're pretty much all say the same thing already. I mean, everyone I've asked, they've all said that, and I would think it would be hard pressed to think otherwise because I think we do have a great community in this game compared to, a couple other games that I have played, which I'm not going to mention what they are, but just the fact that I think that it is so tightly knit, it's close together, and everyone is just really down to earth. Is really cool.
Sure. I don't know. Like I said, I started playing in 2009, 2010. Started really competitively in 2011, and almost all of my best friends are from Pokemon. Like I've if I were to name like my top 10 best friends, I'm sure 8 or 9 of them would be directly from Pokemon. I met my girlfriend through Pokemon.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's just all. I mean, it's if most of my favorite memories, most of the traveling I've done, it's all through Pokemon. It's all through a game, and it's all separate from the actual playing of the cards.
Well, absolutely, and I would say it's almost like a culture or a way of life, for those who are immersed in it enough, for those of us who do travel to different events like that. So it's really cool, obviously, and I think, again, it was really cool of you to volunteer. For those of you guys who are wondering, Kenny actually volunteered to do this interview. He contacted me, which I thought was really, really awesome because to get a commentator's perspective, which is really cool. It's something that I don't really think we've ever had through something like this. So I'd like to say thank you for coming on here and doing this. And is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to real quick?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's really cool to be able to talk about this sort of thing and kind of get more of a voice out there. Thank you to, first of all, everyone who helped me with my deck in Seattle. Travis Nunless, Serena Radu, Oliver Barr, and Drew Allen were the main 4. Especially Travis. Travis is basically responsible for anything that I've done in Pokemon or I will ever do. Travis is just incredible, and like I said, I have school, I have work, I have a long distance relationship. Like I was not able to put in as much work as those guys did on the deck at all, and they happily gave it to me, told me all the matchups, tested with me, and to be honest, Oliver, Serena, either of them deserve to be in that top 8 more than I did. So thank you to them. I do have a funny story to talk about with you though, or to mention
shoot.
So Jacob Van Wagner wins Worlds in 2015.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I don't think a lot of people know this, but the World Renowned Heretic YouTube channel is the reason that anyone knew about Blastoise. Like there was a moment when we were taking the pictures, like everyone was all really excited, and Doug Morrisoli was rounding people up for a picture, and you were like sending off to the side. I don't remember who it was, but someone was like, "Oh no, get Steven, and then someone said something about it, like, "Oh, I don't even know this guy," or something. I don't know who it was, but someone said something like that, and Travis was just like, "He's the only reason we even knew about the deck." Like I think if you just like watch from afar, you see Jacob win, you think it's all him. If you know a little bit deeper than that, you know that it's all Travis because he helped Jacob so much, he helped all of us so much. But if you even go deeper than that, it was the fact that we wouldn't have even known about it if you hadn't put about it. So thank you for that.
Oh, that was my pleasure. I had a lot of fun with that deck then, and it was really cool to hear that story.
I think people in Seattle go. I also really want to thank Top Cut Central. I didn't have any Tapu Leles or anything like that. And Top Cut Central, like we talked about earlier, is just a huge help to kind of my whole career, everything I've ever done, and they're very responsible for helping me out here. I'd like to thank also Sam Chen for helping me. We talked through my top 8 match. I ended up losing, but he talked me through the points needed to draw and how my top 8 matchup worked. Christopher Szymanski also helped me with figuring out the points for getting into top 8, which I was really stressed about because there was things could have gone differently and I could have missed, but thanks to them. Thanks to my girlfriend for being the most perfect woman ever born. Thanks to all my friends for cheering me on in Seattle, and thanks to you for having me here. Oh,
it was my pleasure, and it was really cool to hear that story again. That's really flattering to hear someone else kind of tell that tale. Usually I feel like I'm the one who has to get a little not so modest when I go into that, and so it's really cool that it's really neat to hear that from another perspective. So anyway, that's what we have for you guys today. Thank you very much for watching, and you can catch Kenny on the stream at Madison this weekend, and we will all catch you next time. Otherwise, see you on the flip side. Cheers.
Guys.